This episode of Simple Civics Greenville County is brought to you by Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, providing free books to children 0 to 5 throughout Greenville County. To sign up, visit greenvillefirststeps.org/free books. That's greenvillefirststeps.org/free books.
Most of us drive on our roads, use public services, and watch new buildings go up in our neighborhoods, often without fully understanding the intricate planning decisions that shape our daily lives, much less understanding how to get involved and inform those decisions as an everyday community member. I'm Katie Smith with Greater Good Greenville, and on this episode of Simple Civics Greenville County, we're taking a deep dive into a program that can help you understand and get involved in local land use planning, Upstate Forever's Citizens Planning Academy. We're joined by Tre'Dessa Smalls, Upstate Forever's land policy grassroots specialist, who will break down the fundamental role of planning and why informed citizens are essential to the process. We'll also welcome Aja Johnson, a recent graduate of the Academy, to discuss her experience and how it has empowered her to serve on a local board and much more. In this conversation, you'll hear a primer on what community planning is, moving just beyond buildings and roads to include health, safety, and welfare. You'll hear the philosophy behind the Citizens Planning Academy, the vital why you should get involved, and the excitement surrounding the upcoming Winter 2026 Academy, including dates, what to expect, and how to apply. If you'd like to apply or learn more about planning and zoning, we have links in the show notes for you. Well, I'm so pleased to be here today with two women who can really help you understand how to get involved in your community, in your government, and really understand planning through the Citizens Planning Academy. So Tre'Dessa Smalls with Upstate Forever, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And Aja Johnson, graduate of Citizens Planning Academy. We appreciate you too.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of Simple Civics, listen to all your podcasts. I'm very proud of you. Thank you for having us today.
Oh, that makes me proud that you're proud of us and that it's been a tool for you. All right, well, let's make this an episode that's a tool for others to get involved the same way that you have. Before we talk about the Citizens Planning Academy and why it's needed, we should first establish what planning is when it comes to government and land use. Can you give us an overview, Tre'Dessa?
Of course. Have you ever wondered how things get built in our communities? Like how it's decided to use the land and how we plan for growth? The role of government is in all of that. That is all planning. Community planning at its core is about health, safety, welfare in the community. So local governments regularly engage residents in collaborative efforts to identify needs and set priorities for improving the physical, economic, and social fabric of the community over time. So good planning helps ensure land is developed and used to meet the needs and the goals of the community as a whole. So it includes ample and quality places to live, work, and play.
I love that. And I would imagine that a well-planned community is really the result, or it should be the result, of a shared vision that residents have. Is that right?
Yeah. So like you said, the well-planned community creates a shared vision and implements strategies to provide residents with a wide range of housing choices, employment opportunities, and cultural and recreational amenities, as well as the convenient access to goods and services for daily living.
So when I think about planning, I'm picturing like people writing on flip charts or maps or something, but it's more than that, right?
Yeah, it's way more than that. So it includes like regulations like zoning and land development and doing their part to help achieve community goals.
That's great. I mean, that is a lot. And it really, to me, comes down to I drive by and I say, what's about to happen there? What did they clear land for? Why is there a sign? All the backstory is in what you said, and all of the ramifications of it are in what you said as well. So I feel like what you just shared answers this question, but tell us specifically, why did Upstate Forever create the Citizens Planning Academy?
So the idea of Citizens Planning Academy developed because many jurisdictions did academies, like police academies or fire department academies and those types of things. And we realized that citizens really had an interest in what was going on with planning in their community, but a lot of them didn't understand the planning part or the land use part. So we thought that it would be a great idea to do Citizens Planning Academy. We wanted to demystify local land use planning for the public to let them know we all play a part in planning. There's a place for residents to have a voice in the planning process, from input on comprehensive plans, Unified Development Ordinance, speaking in front of council or planning commission. We wanted to create the academy that not only educates the public, but empowers and inspires them to get involved, to take action. People tend to engage when there's some big issues in their backyard, but we want them to know that you can engage at any time, not just when something big is happening in your backyard. And we want them to stay engaged. And so that's really what birthed Citizens Planning Academy.
I love that. What is interesting is sometimes the thing that is in your backyard that suddenly attracts your attention, the roots of what's possible or not possible happened a year or 2 or 3 prior in those plans you talked about. That was really the time to have been engaged, which is not to say in the moment that something's proposed, you can't get engaged. You should.
Yes.
But creating that groundwork to make the community that you hope for is in the deep planning process. So I'm so glad that you all are connecting those dots for folks. All right, so Aja, you are a graduate of the program. You're someone who is passionate about your community. I'm curious why you signed up, and maybe it can be an inspiration for people listening to say, oh, that sounds like me too. So tell us your inspiration.
Absolutely. So being someone on the ground level who had no prior knowledge on how to get involved, and I saw the advertisement that Tre'Dessa put out to join, it was instrumental for me because I didn't know before that how to get involved. And you would think that there's a lot of meetings and opportunities in the city that they post to get involved, but you don't necessarily know how. And I wanted to do so informed. And so I joined the Citizens Planning Academy to get the information on what goes on in the city, how it is instrumentally put together by our leaders, and just get the ground floor information on how I can be a better advocate. So going from someone that knows no information, trying to invest and educate myself, I wanted to join Citizens Planning Academy to be more informed, and I left with a lot more information that I could ever have wished for. So it prepared me not only to advocate at a city or county council level, but how to speak, how to ask the discerning questions, how to, more importantly, connect with those that were also doing a lot of advocacy work so we can all work on one accord.
That's so exciting. So you went in with a goal. What were your biggest ahas or takeaways after participating?
You know what? Zoning, development, easements, people that plan in our city to protect our beautiful green spaces. One of the things that attracted me to Greenville was how immaculately beautiful and well kept it was. But there was a plan behind that, and how that plan develops. And when the gentleman came to talk about how they zoned everything and they protect the green spaces, it really flabbergasted me, for lack of a better word, seeing how it's very planned, seeing how it's something that you have to work at. A green space is a green space, but with all the developers that we have, and developers do good things, you also have to protect the greenery that we have. So just seeing the formula behind everything was my biggest takeaway, seeing that people are approachable, they're personable, and with tenacity and just keeping on something, being persistent, you can either advocate, get involved, or speak to someone about a change. So I think that was my biggest takeaway, was the city's issues that were being presented by Housing Authority, that were being presented by City and Land Development Planning. And there were so many people that came out, but having that information and making a plan to connecting with the amazing people that were in the class with us. Everyone had similar concerns, and just being more involved. And I think that was my key aha moment, was advocacy is a full-time job, but there are so many things available, and the way that Greenville makes it available to people to get involved are so easy. And it's just very, for lack of a better word, easy. And then it's like they want you to be involved. So people definitely, our leaders want us to be involved. We have great leaders. And that was my biggest takeaway, is that it's approachable, it's tangible, it's not just a concept. And Citizens Planning Academy gave me the tools to make that concept come to fruition.
That is really a helpful answer, I think, for folks that are considering applying. You're bringing up the term easements. That is a term that I think a lot of folks hear, but they don't exactly know what it means, how it's used, and there are many different ways it's used. So I hold that while thinking about you talking about advocacy being a full-time job. I do think if you are well equipped with that back information, like is provided in Citizens Planning Academy, it makes the job less full-time, because you see something about an easement and you say, oh, I know what that is. I know if I need to plug in or not here. So it sounds like an incredible experience.
It absolutely was. Just coming in, not knowing anything, wanting to get involved. and they give you the tools that you need. If you want to be a more informed civic citizen, Citizens Planning Academy is for everyday people like me. They give you the tools that you need, and they allow you to digest it at your own rate. They answer your questions. So the end result is you being an advocate for not only the issues in your neighborhood, but everything that's going around in Greenville. And I feel like they did it at a very personable, I'm a person, oh, we are just going to make you digest these big pieces of information. No, they break it down. They answer questions. They want you to understand, more importantly, and you can walk away with what your bigger picture is in the advocacy. Because there's room for everyone, and it's something that everyone should want to get involved in. And Citizens Planning Academy makes that a realistic, tangible item for an everyday rustic person like myself.
Wow. Tre'Dessa, you must just be beaming at this.
I
Like, could you
am.
have a better endorsement? So congratulations to you and the Upstate Forever team. I'm thinking people who are listening are like, I'm sold. What do I do? Maybe you can walk people through specifically, what does Citizens Planning Academy look like? What is required of participants? What can they expect?
So in 2026, we're doing something new. So we're doing a winter academy. We've never had a winter academy before. Also, it's our 10th academy, so
All
we're
right.
super excited. We're bringing a new energy and a new season, a new day of the week. So everything's a little different, but it's still the core Citizens Planning Academy that's going to teach our participants, get them engaged, and making sure that they feel like they are walking away with something that they didn't know before. So with Citizens Planning Academy, what you can expect is you have career planners going to be speakers. We have people from the city, people from the county who are going to speak about projects that are going on in the planning departments right now. We have people who are going to talk about multimodal transportation. So we have Bike Walk Greenville and some other people who are in transportation. And then we're going to have some other speakers who are talking about equity and planning, which usually is one of those really good days where people are like, oh my goodness, I love this, because it's discussion based and you're watching a video, you're learning a lot, and you have the person who's speaking to you because that it's their profession and they understand it, but not just because it's their profession, but because they're passionate about it. Also, we have a panel discussion about development. And a lot of people have some qualms with developers, but you get to see the good, the bad, the ugly, everything about development. And it's no secrets that we're hiding. So that's what they can expect out of Citizens Planning Academy. This year, it will happen on Thursday, February 5th until Thursday, March 12th. That's 6 consecutive Thursdays from 5:30 to 8 p.m. And then we also have a walk audit that we're adding on Saturday. And it's going to be a 45-minute walk audit. I'm just super excited about what Citizens Planning Academy has to bring this year. And like I said, you can come not knowing anything and you're going to leave like full. You're going to leave knowing like I learned something and I can use this. And also you're going to leave with that confidence to use what you learned in your community, whether it's you being an advocate, whether it's you speaking up in your communities, finally going to your community meetings. You're going to learn something from Citizens Planning Academy, and you're going to want to put it into action.
Now, I have not been a graduate of the Citizens Planning Academy, but I have learned so much from you and your colleagues over the last several years. And I can tell listeners that having these things that are there every day made so plain to you, the things that undergird them, is such a great experience. The walk audit that you mentioned, doing a walk audit, which takes you out literally on the sidewalk or the side of the road, if there isn't a sidewalk, to highlight what's missing here or what's present here that makes the pedestrian experience great. It will completely change your perception of your neighborhood. It is an incredible experience.
Yes, I love it. It's really fun having your participants do the walk audit, and then the next week they're like emailing you or calling you like, hey, I seen this in my community. And it's like, yeah, like, now what are you going to do to get fired? Like, you're fired up, but what are you going to do about it now? So I think that that's very, like, that's just that tangible, like, evidence that you can see that I learned this in Citizens Planning Academy and it translates to what's going on in my community.
Asia talked about some of the big takeaways that she had and aha moments. What do you hear from other graduates of the Academy?
So I believe the biggest takeaway that I've heard from graduates is knowing how to get involved. and feeling like they know enough to be confident to speak up. So an example is Asia's cohort. There was the Unified Development Ordinance going on during that cohort, so the UDO. We talked about it during Citizens Planning Academy. A lot of people were like, I didn't even know this was going on. But then the week after the academy ended, that's when council was voting on it and people got to speak on it. And we had someone from her academy go up there to speak to council, and he was confident and he knew what he was talking about just because of Citizens Planning Academy. So I think those, and I know he told me like before Citizens Planning Academy, I would never have spoken in front of county council. And so I'm like, wow, this is really changing lives, and this is really taking these students and making them like, not that they weren't capable of doing it before, but it just gives them that push to do it. And it's just so beautiful. And so my biggest takeaway is just seeing graduates of the planning academy being able to be like, they'll call me and they're like, Tre'Dessa, I have this going on in my community. And I'm like, what are you going to do about it? And they're ready to do something. Or either just the takeaway of them becoming a cohort that is really engaged with each other. The cohort that just passed their graduates, they just did a Wednesday night dinner together, and they all got to talk about like what they learned, what they're doing, and how engaged they are. Like, you're forming relationships on top of learning something. So the takeaways there are just absolutely amazing.
That is so great. One thing I want to make sure folks understand is you've heard a lot of references of speaking at county council or city council or getting your neighbors involved. This is a positive approach to civic engagement, which is why the cities and the county participate in helping educate. They are glad to have more educated residents who understand how to engage with them successfully. So you can take these tools and use them in whatever way you'd like.
Yes, that's like, we have 2 graduates. They are now in a career in planning. And they were like, if it wasn't for Citizens Planning Academy, I would never have taken a career in planning. And then we have some people who are on boards and commissions and things like that, all because of what they learned from Citizens Planning Academy.
Well, that's a good segue to Asia. Tell us about you and what you have done since Planning Academy to get more involved.
Absolutely. So I was recently appointed to the Human Relations Commission under Dr. Duckett and the amazing commissioners that we have. And it was definitely a learning experience applying. And then you have to go before county council to state why you would like to be on a commission. And just gleaning from the knowledge of Dr. Duckett and the commissioners and learning first and foremost what we can do to impact the city. But I've recently been appointed by council, so I'm extremely excited for that opportunity. And I have to thank Tre'Dessa for all of her hard work. On top of everything that she's doing, she's also getting her doctorates, and she stays very, very busy. And then even going to the Citizens Planning Academy, they have for you dinner. So after a long day, and you might think, oh, this doesn't work for me, I have so many things going on. She really goes out of her way to make sure that everyone is provided for. You can eat, so that's not on your mind. And you can also enjoy everything that they present to you. You can digest not only great food, but the good information and walk away just knowing that there's room for you at a table for advocacy.
That's so outstanding. We have had a couple of episodes about applying and serving on a board or commission. It is a great way to serve your community and in local government. So we'll link those in the show notes. I feel like what you're talking about is the perfect example of Simple Civics Greenville County and what we're trying to do. It is the nexus of nonprofits, of everyday residents, of government coming together to make this place something we all believe in and that we made happen. So I just love this so much.
Get involved and get into the Citizens Planning Academy if you can. But also, like you said, to piggyback on getting on a board of commission, getting appointed, there's room for youth, there's room for city council, and there's room for county council. There are different boards that you can sit on to advocate for your city. But there's so many wonderful opportunities, and there are people that will guide you. If you have questions, please reach out to myself. And then there are so many people there that if you have any questions about applying, when you apply, that you can contact if you have questions. So there's so much room and space to get involved with being on a board. And it's something that I highly recommend. And you learn so much, you glean so much knowledge. People want you there. They are very personable. You can learn. They will teach you. So you do not have to have a degree. You just have to have a love, or what I would say is have a love and a compassion for your community and advocacy. Sign up, see which one you would like to sit on, and just go for it.
Oh my gosh, this is so great, Aja. Thank you so much for sharing this and inspiring people. Okay, well, I'm sold. I hope everyone listening is. So, Tre'Dessa, if someone wants to apply, what do they need to do?
So applications are open until January 14th at 5 o'clock. Make sure you go and apply. You can check it out on our website, upstateforever.org. If you have any questions, you can email me at tsmalls@upstateforever.org. I'm here to answer any of your questions of Citizens Planning Academy related, or maybe anything else for Upstate Forever. But we really hope to see you apply. This is a great opportunity for you to join in a movement. The Citizens Planning Academy is not only just a 6-week event, it's really a movement of making sure we are helping produce informed citizens.
And if someone is listening to this after the application period, or they think, oh, this timing's not right, will there be another opportunity?
This winter 2026 Citizens Planning Academy is the only academy that will happen in 2026. But if you cannot make that one, you can email me to be put on a wait list for 2027 so I can email you when the applications open that year.
And there are lots of ways, if this round doesn't work for you or you're listening to this after the application period has closed, there are ways for people to still educate themselves. You guys have many, right, Tre'Dessa?
Yes. So on our website, under the Citizens Planning Academy tab, we have all the resources from every past year Citizens Planning Academy. So the slideshows are up there. The resources that our speakers tell our participants about are on there. And also the video they watch for equity and planning is on there. So go and have a ball with the resources.
I'm sure that people will. So thank you so much for being so generous with the availability. And we can put links in the show notes to previous episodes we have done, including with folks from Upstate Forever, so people can get educated through Simple Civics, Greenville County as well. Tre'Dessa, first, thank you so much for making all of this so accessible to the community through the work of Upstate Forever. Thanks so much for being here.
Of course, of course.
And Aja, I'm just delighted to have you as a new huge advocate in the community. I mean, you've been an advocate, but the tools that you have, as you said, you are out there serving. And thanks for sharing that journey with everybody who's listening and encouraging them to take part as well.
Absolutely, because I was once, someone that wanted to learn. So anything that I can do to help someone, absolutely, and want to encourage everyone that has the passion for it to get involved. And thank you so much for your podcast. It is so informative. Again, I listen to every episode that you have, and I learn every time that you have a podcast. So thank you.
Hi, Simple Civics Greenville County listeners, Nathaniel here. If you've made it this far, then we think you'll really love our newsletter. Sign up for bonus content, updates, and more right in your inbox. Look for the link in the description that says newsletter to sign up, or visit us at simpleCivicsGreenvilleCounty.org. Find the link in the menu that says newsletter and sign up there. We'll see you again next week.